Hello and welcome along and welcome back to Ohio and American Life Farming. It is day 5 of spring and we're headed back down to the shop, this time with our flatbed on the back here. Now the difference between this is overkill. So this wasn't enough, this is too much. We've got 5 pallets to load on here. We should easily get them on this flatbed. So just want to get them loaded up and back to the farm. And today we're probably going to get the maize in the ground, I think. We are into the seeding window for that. I'm hoping that our sunflowers we did last time, I'm hoping that they have germinated. The ground temperature has certainly gone up to a height where they will. If we have a look actually at the ground temperature conditions, yeah, there we go. They're both just below the 10 degrees C needed for the soybeans and the corn to germinate. If we have a look in here though, and have a look at our field here, yeah, they're still showing us planted for the sunflowers. So I'm not expecting the maize to, no, it'll be the soybeans we plant today. I'm not expecting the soybeans to actually germinate today. It's not going to be warm enough for them to do it, so it doesn't really matter which of these two we do today. It's just that the soybeans field is so much bigger than the field we're doing with the maize. So if we have any work to do with our animals or anything next day, we are going to be wanting that extra time to do it, and so that will be of the utmost with this. Although we may find that we need to do some work with the animals today as well. Let's let's have a look at that. That would be under seasons here. And in fact, yes, we need to do some work with the animals today. So it makes more sense to get the maize planted today than it does the soybeans. But I think I've already loaded up some soybean seed into my drill. So either way, I think we're going to be getting on with the soybeans today. If we don't finish them today, they're not going to germinate overnight tonight. So we can finish them off next game day. This, though, is loading up fairly quickly. 5 pallets side by side really do take up a bit of space on here. So, yeah, it's not going to be any problem filling this trailer for this trip home. And it doesn't take too long with this little Manitou forklift either. Load that all up. And then we're just going to go and park this up, strap those down and get them back to the farm. Yeah, quite useful, this little forklift. I'm very pleased that this is in the game as standard. And FS22, yeah, it looks like we're getting more, which makes sense, seeing as we're getting more production stuff in FS22. There we go. Strap each of these down like so. Now, I did consider replacing my TLX 2020 here with the 3500. My only problem is, while I can get a replacement for the flatbed that I have with this one, I can't replace my fuel tank. I did try it and see if the 2020's fuel tank add-on would fit on the 3500, but no, it doesn't take it, so we can't do that. What we could possibly do is there's a trailer that comes with this, so we could possibly put the fuel tank on that and then do it that way, maybe, which isn't such a bad idea. That might work fairly well for us. So I might have a little bit more of a play around and maybe replace this out. Would like to know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think we should upgrade our car for the newest version from 82 Studio and maybe use that instead of this? In the meantime, we're going to get this back with this flatbed, and get some seeds into our seeder, ready to get them planted. As I suspected, we actually already have 955 litres of soybeans in here. So we're going to pull this forward. That is going to autofill, but I think there must be a setting where we can get it to continually fill. Nope, it's not showing up there, so let's refill that. And it basically should keep going refilling with soybeans, but it doesn't seem to want to. Again, like last time, we don't need to worry about having anything on here for fertilizer wise. Soybeans don't actually require any nitrogen. They create their own in the soil, which is great. So that will be pretty good for this. This is going to be just the biggest field of soybeans this year, field 13. I don't know when we're going to be able to sell them, because I don't think we're going to get far enough in, so we'll probably have to sell them at the highest price we can. Very likely that will be straight off the field, but that is a nice full seeder. We need to head over, and I think we might start on the longer edge. So going completely the wrong direction for that. We want to head round the field and up this way, and then get this. And I think this year, actually, considering how much silage we have left, all of our crops we're going to cut with combine. So the corn this year, we will harvest the corn and we will sell the corn. Rather than make silage, we've got way more than we're going to need to get us through the rest of this year. And yeah, that is really what we need. Unfolding the seeder. Right, there we go, like so. And we can then just back up. This is a nice size seeder for most of the fields we have on this farm. It's when we get to the big one here that this takes a little bit longer. The larger seeders you can get with the air carts would probably suit this field fairly well. You'd get it done in a few passes. However, we would not be able to handle that on fields like field 27. Would just be too difficult. Right, we are going to go straight down this field. So we want to set ourselves to 180 because this is a straight line. Right, there we go. We are going to set our first waypoint, turn on the seeder, drop it down, and hopefully keep this going nice and straight until we can set ourselves a second waypoint, set the width, and away we go. And this is where it comes nicely. Although, because we're still on a pre-release version of this map, as before, we've got a sideways drilling pattern coming, unfortunately. This field is just ridiculously huge. We are on the third row of this, and yeah, so far we've used about 13% of our total soybean seeds we have in this. We have more, obviously, so if we run out, we'll be fine. But it basically goes almost as far as the eye can see, this field. The price of soybeans when we're looking to harvest them, you're looking at harvesting normally at this point here. So a little bit of a peak at winter, but yeah, sort of nearly half the top price that we'd otherwise expect to get. As a result, it's going to be one of those crops that we're gonna not make as much on as we might hope to. Having said that, I don't think it's going to be a massive problem. We are going to have so many soybeans off this field. We're not going to know what to do with them. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a massive crop off here. Right, I'm trying to not hit the tree. Get myself back on there. And away we go. There we are. Trying to do minimal headlands down the end here. We'll clean that up at the end. But it is just such a large field that we're sorting. Such a large field that we've got to plant. But we'll get it planted. It'll be all good. And yeah, when it comes up to harvesting, so long as the weather lets us harvest them, this is going to be a massive payday for us. Speaking of massive paydays, we haven't actually sold this year's crop of soybeans yet. They are sitting in our silo. We've got nearly 44,000 litres of them. And if we can get them sold at the maximum price, that is going to be over 100,000 that we make from the soybeans. Absolutely brilliant that will be. That is going to go quite a long way, especially as our loan on here is still sitting at 1.3 million. So yeah, at the moment we have enough money to get our loan below $1 million. I'm really intrigued to see how much we make on harvest this year, because can we pay all that off before the end of it? Can we make our $5 million farm worth more than $5 million before we finish it after 2 years? It'll be an interesting thing to see how well that return on investment goes. We're not even on the longest part of the field yet, which is the crazy thing about this field. You might think that the bit that extends past the farm would be the longest bit. It isn't. It's actually, whoa, there we go. It's actually the bit that that comes down the middle of the farm over here. That stretch there that sort of equals the end of those bunkers, that is so much longer than that bit there. It really is. So yeah, it's quite a big field, this. I can't, and I know I keep saying that, but yeah, this field is just humongous. This is now the longest run down this field. It is from that point there all the way to that peak down at the bottom end. It's actually quite fortunate that where those are set and where we started with this, it meant that we came back this way. It meant that we've not had to leave any headland at that top end of the field. Yeah, this is just such a long stretch of field. And I love that this field actually is not flat. It's one of those things that you come across American maps quite often, and they are just very flat, with no even slight undulation like this. And yeah, one of the things I like about this map is, although it is in general a very flat map, there is still some elevation, some undulation to it, which is really nice and just great to do this on. That's not to say there aren't places in the States that are completely flat, just the same as there are places in the UK that are completely flat. I just like a map with a bit of character like this that isn't totally flat. And there we go. We are the whole way down the length of this field and lifting before we end up in the trees at the end. And then we can get onto the next row, and we don't need to worry so much about starting it right at the edge. But yeah, that's gone fairly well, and we're well over halfway through this field now. Yeah, this is going to get done nicely, I think. We're a good way through this field now, and we've got Well, we've got 41% left, so I don't think we're going to need to refill the seed on here. We've got way more seed on the farm this year than we need. If we're lucky, we might be able to go and do a contract or two maybe, but the planting window for these is swiftly closing. So I'm not expecting there to be many options from that point of view. We should have the full nitrogen set up on all these fields as well, so I'm not expecting us to have to do any spraying from the point of view of getting more nitrogen on the field. What we might have to do though is do a bit of spraying to get rid of some weeds. So I'm gonna have to get something in to do that. We may not get a full John Deere sprayer set up. We may see if we can get ourselves just a sprayer that we can put on the back of this tractor. 20 hours actually is not that much time. I expected to have more, considering this is our sole fieldwork tractor we have on the farm. Yeah, we can go spraying with this. It is also late spring, so I want to be doing some mowing next time, preferably. With any luck, we've got our fields, our grass fields, up to spec. We may put this out with a hired worker on field 38 to get our last set of seed in with the maize. And see if we can go do some grass work next time. There is a new piece of grass equipment I want to grab that should do things nicely for us. And hopefully, if the weather is not going to be too nasty, which of course it is, we'd be able to get some hay. We really, really need some hay off those fields. Because, yeah, it might be a case of cutting them next time and just feeding the grass to the cows, maybe. So this is the last row on the field, and as you can see, it pulls in at the angle. So we are going to go around the bottom end and do the headland now. It should finish this field off very nicely. Easier doing it this way than trying to get ourselves to finish in that top corner. We'd have had to have folded the seeder up anyway to move ourselves around the field. So yeah, much easier just to head this way with this and then finish up at the bottom corner and fold everything up there to bring us back. We're down to 30% of the soybeans left, so yeah, plenty still left here. We'll be fine. We've got about I think we might have like a pallet and a half of soybeans as well back on the trailer. So yeah, like the sunflowers, we have way more seeds this year than we need. I definitely overestimated how much we needed. So yeah, we're gonna have more than we need for the maize as well. Although the maize, we're left with less from last year than we had been with these two. 2 pallets of maize seed is going to be too much. Let's back this up here, bring it round, and then we can bring it down again and just tidy up this corner. Get that seeded nicely, and then we've just got this edge up the side here to do the same with. Don't know if there's a better way of seeding this field. That's going to go into that tree though if I keep going that way. There we are. Bring this round and get this last side done here. And yeah, this has gone pretty smoothly. I'm very pleased with how well this seeder has been performing. It did as well last year as well. And it's done this field fairly quickly. I said, you know, one of those big air seeders would suit us well on this field. This seeder, this planter, has actually done us really well. It's handled this field, it's done it in a reasonable amount of time, and yeah, we've got the field nicely planted. I'm very happy with it, and it's such a great sound on this. Such a really nice setup. I'm yeah, quite happy with it. Let's just switch over to, can I switch over to the tractor and unfold the tractor? Yeah, there we go. We should have those out because we got the dual wheels on here all the time. Makes more sense to have those out. And as we come outside here, we can then just bring this back along the side of the railway track when we're finished. And it'll get us back to the farm rather nicely. So there we are. Up to this corner here, because there's a tiny bit in the corner that needs sorting. And stop there. Right, lift her up. Turn it off. Fold it in. It takes a little while for that to kick in, but there we go. We just roll forward slowly like that. It does aid it just that little bit to close. And all hooked in. Yeah, and then it hooks over that middle bar. Really nice animation, that. And there we go. That is our soybeans done. And I think actually that is probably where we're going to leave today's video. So all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.